Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on your very beautiful Rise and Shine program, Jumaane
Yes,
and Brother B.
very good. Indeed, a pleasure having you. All right, let's get straight into it, obviously. Just an overview as to our performance nationally. You are a football activist and enthusiast. Clearly, how are we doing nationally? And of course, we are in this World Cup qualifier. Just an overview, because I don't know if you will join me in rebutting the call for Dwight York resignation. You're not here to talk that, but given that it's in the news and you are at the helm of our football TTFA, your thoughts on our standings presently and going forward into the rest of the matches?
Right now, as I expected, the national team, senior men's team, as well as the women, but now we're referring to the men, they are the flag bearers of football in Trinidad and Tobago. And in light of that, tremendous energy, effort is being expended towards their qualification for the World Cup 2026 to be held we are very fortunate for the World Cup to be held in this part of the world, the CONCACAF region, which will be held in Mexico, USA, and Canada. Like all the other teams, we do have a chance for out of six, should I say, 6 games, and in it the winner goes on. Right now we are in a precarious position, which means we are on 1 point after 2 games, 4 more games. What will safely get us to a point to contest for that position, that lone position out of the group, is possibly at least 12 points. It's not impossible. Bermuda is at the bottom of the table, and we have to play them home and away. So if you can acquire that 6 points there, that will be crucial. Curacao, you got to play Curacao away. Should have actually won that one in Trinidad at the Hasty Crawford Stadium a couple of weeks ago, but suffice it to say, it is what it is. And then our nemesis in that of Jamaica, that is leading right now. So from all appearances, it looks as though that if Jamaica continues the way they are performing, they're in an exceptionally good position to qualify, of which the next best second place team will move on to play the next best team in the South American region, which is not going to be an easy task, certainly. So our intention should still remain trying to remain as consistent, resolute, a high level of resilience, prepare to the max, and be able to execute when it is necessary. And when I say execute, ensure that because we need to start scoring goals and we need to start winning the matches.
Very good.
Dwight York remains one of our most esteemed and highly celebrated player in the Caribbean, number one here in Trinidad and Tobago. And certainly he has a lot of logistical issues and challenges that he is navigating through and with. And I'm saying give him a chance. Already he has performed remarkably well. It's just now we have to finish this final hurdle. That's one of the main reasons why he was brought on as head coach. One of his main aim is to qualify the country towards the World Cup 2026.
Very
So
good.
I would want to suggest that we strongly work along with him and the TTFA. Full support as we have seen in the last 2 games, St. Kitts Nevis and then the other one against Curacao. Packed stadium, full out crowd at the Hasty Crawford Stadium, and we just need to continue to give that support.
All right. Well, let's get into. Thank you for that, and of course, that will make news given that you have spoken to positivity in our approach for the qualifiers. All right. Let's get into secondary school football. The season already started, and when is it supposed to start? Give us an accurate date and so on, and let's have that conversation this morning.
Very well. We started with our official opening Super Cup that took place last week, Friday, at the Hasty Crawford Stadium. And we want to sincerely thank the Minister of Education, the patron of the league, Dr. Michael Dowlett. Actually, one of the guidelines or rule that he had instilled is that no activity is supposed to take place, sporting discipline that is, on the first week of school. However, we had our plans a long time in place. As a matter of fact, We should have started the first week in September. However, school, there was a 1 week delayed start, so it started on the 8th. We worked harder to start on the Wednesday the 10th. However, we shifted to Friday the 12th. National Gas Company was our official sponsor for the opening cup, as well as one of the sponsors or partners for the SSFL. However, due to the political climate and the impact of it on the NGC at this present moment, with a new board to be uh, replacing the previous board, they are able to honor their commitment to the SSFL Open. Nevertheless, last week, Friday at the AC Crawford Stadium, the two top girls team in that of Pleasantville Secondary, the league champions of 2024, they defeated St. Joseph Convent 2-1, St. Joseph being the integral champions. At 3:30 that game was played, and then at 5:30, the ever popular, highly anticipated between St. Benedict's College, the integral champions, boys that is, played at St. Fatima College, and at the very end of 90 minutes of football, stalemate, 0-0, and they went into penalty shootout, of which the Fatima defeated St. Benedict's College 4-2 at the penalty shootout. Game started in the Premiership on Saturday, already on our Facebook page as well as our website. Information is already there so that the public can view. The boys championship commences today in all of the zones, and the girls championship will be expected to start on Thursday. So girls championship will be played on Thursdays and Sundays, and the boys championships will be played on Tuesdays and Fridays. And as we know, the Premiership boys started already, and they played their games on Wednesdays and on Saturdays.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, just for clarity, for those who may not be totally abreast with the varying categories, the Premiership division speaks to the top tier, all right?
Correct.
And the championships, which you're referring to, speaks to, I don't want to say well, I guess it's fair to say the second tier, because you would need to qualify for the top tier. Just distinguish and sticking with the boys for now, in terms of, I understand there are 16 teams or 16 schools in the Premiership division, which is the top tier, and just distinguish the difference between the two in terms of teams being relegated and promoted at the end of the season.
Lovely. So the premier competition in the SSFL is the boys Premiership division. There are 16 teams, and where we have promotion and demotion. And as you all may very well be aware, two of the schools of the 16 are from Tobago. That's Scarborough Secondary and the Signal Hill Secondary. And there was a 2-all drawn game, 3-all actually, 3-all drawn game with Arima North versus Scarborough Secondary last Saturday. I believe at Shaw Park that game was played. So there is promotion and demotion in the Premiership boys competition. May I also say too that our highly anticipated girls Premiership competition, we really were pushing towards having that one this year with 5 teams. However, due to some issues at hand, the larger and major membership has agreed that we'll put a hold on it for now. And we want to thank very much Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, led by Mr. Kieran Edwards, that they have promised to sponsor the Girls Premiership Division. So in the absence of that, we are looking towards them still supporting us in the Girls Championship. So the Premier is Tier 1, and the Championship is the Tier 2, of which we also have promotion and demotion there in the Senior Division, that is right under the Championship. After the Senior Division, we have the boys under 16, girls under 15, boys under 14, and boys and girls 13 and under. The only difference there, is that in the 13 and under boys, you must be in Form 1. However, for the girls, in order to encourage more girls' participation, you can be in Form 1, 2, or 3 as long as you're still at the tender age of 13 years and under.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, next question in terms of the game. So let's look at the two schools in Tobago, Scarborough Sec and, of course, Signal Hill Secondary. In terms of their home games, naturally, Signal Hill would play at the school compound, but is it that Scarborough Sec's games would be at Shore Park for the duration of the season? Mr. Gonzalez?
Hello?
Yes, you heard the question, all right?
Yes.
So in terms of the venue,
All schools,
just confirm.
Yeah, all schools are expected to have a home venue, and most of the time it is the school venue that is utilized. Sometimes because of challenges, they use other venues, which is what they have as their plan B, backup ground. So in this case, Shore Park was the first choice for Scarborough. We are hoping that they will be able to utilize their home school venue as their first choice. So as of now, we are not, it is not concrete, and it is not a final decision that all their games will be played at Shore Park.
Very good. You mentioned the Ministry of Sports, and you spoke highly of the Minister of Sport. What about Tobago and the Division of Sports here? Are they working in tandem, or is it two separate entities? The games in Tobago will be under the remit of the Education Division here, as opposed to Trinidad. Is there any collaboration? And what type of support are you getting from the Division of Education in Tobago?
Good question. Stian Blackman, who's a teacher at Signal Hill Secondary and also secretary of the Tobago's SSFL zone and also second vice president. She has been working with the executive, that is, closely in conjunction with THA over the many years, and they have provided substantial, respectable, and reasonable support. Especially what is critical there is the traveling between Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad, especially for the teams that are presently involved in the Tobago's competition at that level. Now, in the same breath, may I also extend heartfelt and deepest appreciation for the tremendous support and sponsorship and partnership of the First Citizen, Shell, Coca-Cola, Digital Rush TTT that has the title media sponsor right for the league. And with it, THA is one of those that has been working with us very meticulously to give support towards this sporting discipline, which is football, and to that we are eternally grateful. We continue to have the challenge between the Trinidad and Tobago with traveling. So, for example, the reason why Signal Hill was unable to play their game in Trinidad, again, traveling became an issue with tickets. So we are trying to see if we can work towards rectifying that matter, because we're trying to avoid any delay or postponement of games. As we know, continuous postponement of games puts more pressure on the fixtures and on the league for us to be able to complete it in a timely manner leading up to the Coca-Cola Intercal in late October.
What about the coaches? Obviously, they play a very critical role. Just a kind of update, what is required? These coaches have to be FIFA certified. Speak to us about what is the requirement for coaching in secondary schools football.
Very good question. All the coaches, every single coach, from the 13 and under Form 1 straight up to the Premiership Division, every single coach who registers with the school through the principal must be TTFA sanctioned coaches, which means you must be certified. And with it also, I'm glad you asked that question, is that all persons on the technical staff, in addition to the coach of the respective teams, must also have least done the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association Safeguarding License Level 1 course. So yes, that's the direction that we have taken, with all coaches being certified and all personnel interacting with the thousands of student athletes playing in the league must also have done the Safeguarding Level 1 license course.
All right. So, right. So it's. And what about support or sponsorship? Obviously, the government will do what it will. However, do you seek private sponsorship for some of these games? How the entire season is run from a financial standpoint? Where do you get additional support? Do you get it at all? Do you seek it? Are you allowed to do that as well? So there are a number of questions in that scenario.
We over the years we have done, and this is 61 years, by the way. Yesterday last year we celebrated 60th anniversary, the 61st anniversary of the SSFL, established since 1964. And from that inception and establishment of the league to now, we have always been sourcing sponsors privately over the years, and to that we are very, very grateful for the support given over the many years by our sponsors, which we will like to refer to as partners. As I said earlier on in the interview, National Gas Company, due to challenges that they're experiencing, are unable to be with us for this 2025 season. Also, we are trying to work respectable, meaningful arrangement with Omega Excel that we would like to encourage to come on board with us as the supplement provider of the league through its very nutritious and healthy products. But in the interim, we have the Shell, Coca-Cola, the Giselle, Rush TTT. May I also say that the First Citizen now will take up another special part in the league, and they have, with discussion with us, they have agreed to sponsor the boys championship division. So that is going to be called the SSFL First Citizen Boys Championship Division.
Fantastic.
What is happening, Jumaane and Brother B, is that with the termination or the closure, let me use that word instead, closure of the Sportsmax Digicel, and we are in the third and final year with them, so they have honor, and they are honoring their obligation to the league, and to that we are grateful, because they are our highest revenue earning entity in the SSFL, at a tune of our league budget is about 1.8 million for the season, and every single cent is critical. We are experiencing some challenges, but we are working through, in and around it, to ensure that we are able to still have, and we would have, I'm sure, a season that is a very, very highly anticipated one, very competitive and very entertaining, because our intention at the end of it is to ensure that we continue to provide this platform for our student athletes to showcase their talents, especially those who wish to pursue football scholarships, or for those who are willing, like in the case of Dwight York, to pursue their professional contract through football.
Okay, Mr. Gonzales, just quickly, persons attending the games, each school would have their varying admission fee, or is there a standard fee? And also, I want to believe I saw a new TV station involved. So seeing that you mentioned Sportsmax, which we are aware of, Sportsmax came to a close. Where can persons view the games and speak to the admission fee as well in terms of attendance?
Lovely. So I did indicate we have the Digital Rush TT up at the point person is Mr. Kerry Gibbons, who have been working remarkably well and impressively since 2016 with Sportsmax. So he has now had discussion, so it's now going to be Digital Rush TT. However, they are experiencing some challenges, so they will come on board officially in the month of October. In the interim period, as we would have seen on Saturday in the Super Cup opening, We have the Scorch TV that is up on the YouTube page, doing it on behalf of the league presently, that is with Peter C. Lewis. We also have with us doing additional games in the Premiership, Tiger Tan to Mr. Dennis Latif, who was our title sponsor in 2022. He's back on board with Rodeo 360, and I must commend Mr. Kerry Porter of Tobago Sports Live, who over these several years have been working in conjunction with us to ensure that the games are also televised, broadcasted live in Tobago, in the Premiership Division in particular, coming on board with us. We do have, however, the intention is, I should say, to have another media house or two that will take the responsibility of broadcasting the lower division. Now, mind you, while we have a real estate, which is the SSFL, and we expect to get returns from it financially, that still remains a matter that always have to be discussed around the table.
Right.
You did ask a particular
About the
question.
admission
The first
fee for various schools. Is it
admission,
one?
great, lovely. So yes, we actually leave that matter in the hands of the schools, but we give them a more or less a gauge by which to not undervalue themselves and neither go beyond any exorbitant figure. So, for example, in the Super Cup opening on Friday last, usually by the one game it would have been 20 and 40 for a single game. So we just increase it by 30 for students or children and 50 for adults. So with a single game with the Premiership Division, it could border around maybe $30 and average around $30 for entry, give
Excellent.
and
Okay.
take.
Yeah. In closing, what would you want to say to patrons, supporters, parents? Obviously, support for these youngsters in the future would be, heavily supported by their parents and so on, contributes to their future in terms of what they're pursuing in terms of football. Just your closing comments towards people, supporters and family and friends and parents of these children.
Yes. You're referring to the support of the parents, which is certainly critical. Because we are dealing with students, and most of them are 18 years and under, while we have some 19 and 20-year-olds. The parents are critical in the support that is necessary and is given. We want to also applaud, in addition to that, the support of the alumni, the past students, bodies that are there working along with the respective schools. That is so critical. I mean, in addition to the bragging rights, they also provide financial and other type of support to the school, and to that, it means that with that critical and crucial support, they can only perform at a higher level, which is what is expected of us as a league, as we always try to raise the bar from one year into another year.
All right. Mr. Gonzales, I want to thank you very much for being with us this morning. And of course, we look forward to a bumper season. And it's always an exciting time for youngsters. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of the day to you and your viewers.
All right.
Stay safe.